In this video, we are going to be putting together this Losi LMT body, ESC, motor, servo, all the stuff to get it ready, to get it running, and we're going to take it out for its first maiden voyage. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is Troy. This is Roadside RC. What you typically find me doing here is crawling and bashing and racing and drifting, plus product review videos and how-tos. And on some of my more recent footage, you saw me down at USTE in Florida. Great event. Really had a blast down there. There was some RC monster truck racing going on down there, and the monster truck bug had already kind of been spinning in my mind. I mostly blame Tony CCXRC for that. So it had already been spinning in my mind a little bit, and then I go down there, and USTE, there's all these guys with these really cool monster trucks racing them around this dirt track, and it looks like a blast. And so shortly thereafter, Losi LMT, this is the roller. You can of course get it in the ready to run version, the Gravedigger and the Son of a Digger. I almost did that. I almost pulled that trigger instead, but I already had a lot of the parts that I would want to use in order to put it on, in order to assemble this, and so that's exactly what we're going to do today. Of course, you want to know, what are the specs, what are the parts that we're going to be using on this truck? Well, it's all going to start with the heart of it, a hobby wing. This is the XE Run, the XR8 SCT. Really powerful 140 amp ESC that can do 2S to 4S, so I can run it in 2S if I ever do competitions. I can also really crank it up to 4S if I wanted to get crazy. I got this set up with the 4300 kV motor. Yeah, let's be honest, that's probably going to be too high a kV if I'm honest. I was able to get this set for cheap, and so that's what we're going to start with. It's probably wrong, but so you can go down this journey with me as I make this mistake, and then we get a different motor to put in its place. These are fortunately both the censored motor and ESC. I'm looking for some control here. I want precision. I want some control with this truck, and so that's why I wanted to go censored. I don't expect right off I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of mud and craziness with it, which I'm probably wrong with that assumption, but that's why censored and don't have to worry about the waterproofing. Of course, if it's going, it needs to turn, so we're going to be putting in one of these Zuske 25 kg servos into it. Should be plenty of strength in order to turn these tires while we're driving. We have a fun body to put on this. So this is thanks to my buddy, the Rich D RC. He had made this body for me back for my birthday just a few months back. This is the Proline Rock Van. He hydro dipped it in this cool paint scheme. Got the stripes on it. Look at that. Even got some metal flake in the window. I've been trying to figure out what I was going to do with it, and I think it belongs on this monster truck. Now, in order to do that, I believe that I need to take the cage off and use some different mounting options for the body, but we'll get to that later. Now, we have the power, we have the steering, we have the looks with the body, which means we need to have the control. So I'm going with my trusty Futaba radio and receiver setup. Typically, I use this one on my drift car. I've used it in some racing vehicles before also. It is going to go on here to help give me that control. So let's get this whole build started. We're going to start with the body. Like I said, I think it's going to look fun on here. I think it's going to be a cool looking kind of setup for this truck. But you know how this body mounts, how they want it to mount on here is they have the upper post, which is great. You're supposed to screw that in through the body. It also has some mounting points here on this top of the roll cage. But then those mounting points come down a lot. And for that van, that's not really going to work for me. So I need to find some way to get that on here. Fortunately, this kit does come with a whole bag of spare body mounts that we can use and mount down like this. But I still have to match the front of this whole body here. So I may have to figure out how to put them on an angle a little bit, something like that. No matter what though, this cage needs to go. If you have the right body, you can actually attach it to the cage, and then with just a few body pins, it hinges out of the way. That's unfortunately not where we're at today though, so 2 screws back here and this whole cage will come off. Oh, I'm a fan of this. Look at that body mounted up. I had to get a little creative. I had to cut the fenders, of course, in order to get some clearance. But with the cage off, I was able to mount these rear body posts back here. I need to do something a little bit more to them though, because they only have one screw in them right now. So I need to put something else in here to give them some extra support. Front body mounts, actually it turns out it just happens to be the right angle if you put one screw through here, and we're going to put one screw through this bottom hole here on the inside. So we have one here, one here. That actually just happens to be just right to get the right angle to come right through this windshield here. So that is exciting. I'm excited to have this body on here and give it a shot. That is one very good looking motor and ESC combo, and that's what we're doing next. We're going to be putting this in one simple screw, and the whole motor cover actually here comes off, so you have easy access to the gearing that's in there, plus the designated spots to mount the motor based on the gearing you provide. A pinion is provided with the kit, which is super awesome. Already confirmed it is the right diameter for my motor shaft. Really win-win here. Now, because of the space limitations, unless I'm going to take the battery tray physically out, I need to go ahead and solder all these wires up and get everything connected before I stick the motor in there. So that is exactly what we're going to do now. ESC is tied down, wires are soldered on. I got the switch mounted right here. I got the plug right here. I'm going to be running this XT90, plenty of power. Overall, really happy. So now it is time to get this USTE 25 kg servo mounted up, plus my Futaba receiver in there, and then we should almost be ready to power this bad boy on. We have power, we have servo works, and then if I am brave enough, we have power. This truck's actually gonna go. I'm gonna leave it powered on while I go ahead and mount the servo and mount the servo horn on. That way I know the servo is centered. So did you guys already know how I was screwing up? And you just let me screw up. So the USTE 25 kg servo that I have on here is a 25 tooth splined servo, whereas of course this is a Horizon Hobby product, which means this nice servo saver that includes on here is a 23 tooth. Now, fortunately, the USTE servo does actually come with its own servo horn, but that means I'm running 0 servo saving on it if I run it that way. So I'm going to run it that way, and it's probably going to be bad, and I'm probably going to completely break this servo with these super big tires and no servo saver on it, but I want to give it a shot. I want to get it running. That's just silly. Tell me those USTE 25 kg servos aren't any good. But we know we're about to probably just absolutely destroy that servo without a servo saver on it and big tires like this and bashing. It's not long for this world. It's a good thing. It's a good thing they're cheap, because by the time I break it, I'll have a new servo from them and a servo saver to put on it. right, this has been really fun so far. I mean, really, scale monster truck shenanigans, wheelies, crushing the bodies, all that kind of stuff. That is a blast. But if you know, I have a really big jump here in the backyard, and I kind of feel like I need to try it. I know it's not really made for it, and it's probably going to break something, but I feel like I gotta try it, right? So let's give it a shot. I hit myself. Oh, ow. I did not expect it to do that well. Now, this thing was a blast. The boys and I, literally, I had both of my kids out with me. I had the Rich D RC with me for a little while, doing all these backflips and jumps and car crushing and all this fun. It's a blast. Love this monster truck. Really happy with it. Of course, along the way, had a couple failures, right? So first one was completely on me, I believe, which is I actually ripped off this rear wheelie bar, cracked it, broke it right along in here. But that is partially because the rear cage is actually supposed to sit here. The whole cage is sit here, and it actually pivots about this point. I didn't even think about it when I took the cage off. I took that screw out, which means it was being held on by a very weak junction in there. So a couple crashes, a couple wheelies, it ripped the wheelie bar off. I was able to glue it and then mount it into the lowermost position with 3 screws per side as it's supposed to be. And it's been fine ever since, but it does need replaced. The other issue is up here in the front. So I actually have fried 2 servos and 2 servo horns all with this, because if you remember from the beginning, this is a 23 tooth servo saver. On here I don't have any 23 tooth servos, so I was just running direct, no servo saver at all. And as it turns out, you break servos and servo savers that way. So these aluminum servo horns, I would actually just strip them out. I found a steel servo horn that I had laying in my toolbox, and that then just broke the servos instead. So I fried my Zuske 25 kg, and then I had this Power Hobby 20 kg just laying around. Fried it also. So 2 servos down, 2 servo horns down. I now have a servo horn that's nice and strong, but I need to get a proper servo saver. First run though, otherwise very successful. Literally the boys and I for hours in the backyard, really having fun, just driving over cars and flinging dirt, all of the monster truck things. Really had a blast. That 4300 kV motor is really fast in there. I mean, we ran the whole thing always on 2S and it flew. I think I could easily step down to like a 3500, 3600 and be happy. And if I ever really needed more speed, then run it on 3S, you know, something like that. So I am going to get to working some more on this monster truck. What I need from you is to come over here if you want to check out soldering videos or drifting videos or anything else like that. All of those kind of things are over here, and once I have some more LMT videos, those will all be over here also. We will see you in that next video. Thank you for all your support. Goodbye.